Hello viewers, you're welcome to this tutorial. Now if you watched the previous tutorial before this one, I made mention of this method and compared it to this method as well. Okay, and this is so reliable, so many differences. I made mention of indentation, which you know what I mean. I made mention of having a separate variable for this, which kind of also gives much space to your memory. Not much space, it kind of loads your memory since you have two more variables your memory has to handle. Okay, you will not see that, but it has an effect on your code. And moreover, I made mention of this having one more line of code, but actually this does not have any line of code, so you are good. This has two lines, this kind of having three in all four, and in all this has three, so it's kind of, this simplifies your code. Now let me show you one behind the scene disadvantage of this, which is not related to the programmer but to the system, and it can affect the output of your software you are developing. Okay, so let's check it out. Should I have this here? Let me bring this down here. Oh, what mistake is this? All right. I copied an empty space. All right, so let me bring this one down here and close it at the top. All right, so this is what I want to do. I want to append to a file. Okay, now should you forget my data.close, this is what the problem is. Should you forget my data.close, that is why if I want to use this method up here, what I will do is this. I just go like my data equals open file name access mode. Okay, and the next thing I type is my data.close. all right, so before I try to put in anything else I have to put in, because if you forget my data.close, there are so many disadvantages you will get. So you might forget if you don't bring it earlier. So if you use this method, try to declare it earlier, but if not, then you're good to go. Okay, so should you forget my data.close, which you already know what my data.close does, it frees up all the values in memory and kind of exist this, or it doesn't exist, kind of emits. Okay, it clears off all these values you have within your memory. It frees them and closes them. Okay, so they are no more active in memory, but by default this closes by itself. Okay, so this one kind of makes them inactive in memory. If not, they will still be active. So let me show you what happens if you have this. All right, and this is a problem normally if you're dealing with append. Okay, because one thing about write, it overwrites, reads. Okay, but append kinds of, you want to add something to it, and most of this causes problems. So let's check this out. If I have 2, okay, 2 is basically appending, and I want to append. After appending, I want to read. All right, so understand the code carefully. There is already a data within the file which I want to append the value. So append the value, I go my data.write. I want to add maybe South Africa. Okay, so I want to add South Africa. After adding South Africa, I want to display all the things within the file which I've added South Africa to it. But if I run the code, see what happens. There is no South Africa. Okay, so there is just no South Africa, meaning in my programming, if I deal with this thing behind the scene or at another point, and in the other part of the code I want to reveal it, it will not show. The reason it never showed is because I don't have my data.close, but moreover it has appended it to the file. But because I have not closed it, it is still active in the memory. Okay, so this man close keeps it closed from memory, but because it's still active, it can leave and pass over its values to the other code, but it has already loaded to the file. So if I get to the file and come here, you see it has added South Africa. So you see, interestingly, it has added South Africa, but what is happening right now is it's not displaying in what I have. So if I display it here, I will definitely have it. Okay, because I've already added it. So if I display it, I will easily see the South Africa here. Okay, should I close all these ones and I should run this code? I have South Africa, meaning I have to be refreshing my code before it works, but things should not work that way. So if I want it real time, I will not have it because I have not made this .close effective. So if I should clean and make the .close effective and have this one as well, let me clean the South Africa. Okay, and run this code, it gives me South Africa. So you see, there is one problem if you forget this thing. If you really forget to close, it gives you a bunch of problems. So if I close it, it's able to pass the South Africa value to me because all this data are loosed from memory. Okay, so this one thing you have to know if you forget the .close. And now there is something else you need to know. If you are appending to the file and you really want to append again, it gives you problems. Okay, so now there is South Africa within my code. Okay, let's check it out. I also want to append here as well. So I want to append here and I want to append here too. Okay, I want to give two different levels of append within my code. So I come here and say my file dot write equals I want to add maybe Congo. Okay, Congo, DR Congo. Okay, so DR Congo, and I already have South Africa. I think I have South Africa within. I've already added it. So let me add maybe Japan. Alright, so let me check within my code. So I have South Africa. So I already have South Africa here. So I want to add these two things to it. So let me give a comment \n, so to take it to the next line. Okay, all right, it will take this one to the next line, to leave a space under. So what I want to do is append the value here and also append the value here, or let me even skip append and say I want to write. Everything becomes easy for us. Okay, so I want to write, I choose index 1, so meaning everything within the code, within the file, I want to override them, and after writing them I want to add DR Congo. Check what happens. It works perfectly. The reason it works was that I brought the close. So if I omit this code, look at what happens. Okay, so I want to overwrite everything, put in Japan and add DR Congo. Now this becomes a magic. So if I open the countries, look at what happens. Japan comes, and the Congo, they gave me the last letter in the Congo. It's very funny. So it gave me this Japan, and it really prevented this Congo from displaying. Why? Because I omitted the close. So please, if you forget this dot close, it gives you functional problems. Okay, everything here is still in memory, so it kind of prevents you from trying to append to something whilst it's trying to prevent you from adding to the file whilst this is already in existence within memory. So this is just what you need to know. If you want to use this method, always remember the mind close. Moreover, this one causes good readability, short lines of code, and everything becomes simple even if you forget my data.close, because you don't need it here. So thank you for viewing. This is the end of files. Watch out for the next tutorial where I'm dealing with so many other things, date and time library. Okay, so subscribe to the channel if you have not. Like the videos if they're informative for you. Leave a comment if you have any questions or any queries you want to make, and also ring the bell to get all updates of mine. Thank you for viewing.